Well, I think there are some very good cases which I like to bring out. First of all, France. France were a country that quite early developed nuclear energy, and in the 80s, around a period of like 15 years, they were totally able to decarbonize their electricity supply. So they got rid of all use of oil and coal in the system. And they did that at a very competitive price. That means they have a good electricity price for the people in the country right now. I gave also a few other examples. Sweden, where I come from, also where nuclear energy has been building up to like almost 40–50% of the electricity supply, also being a backbone for other development in the country to have a good, stable electricity, reliable electricity that you can use for all other industries and for people as well. They know they have the electricity 24/7. Then I see also the development in some countries, because they are quite advertising that they are using more and more renewables, and we do think it's important to have renewables in the mix as well, but we see that it's sometimes promoting it in a way that it's not to the facts. And to give an example, if you have France have decarbonized their electricity system and having 75% of the electricity from nuclear. Germany has built 3 times as much capacity in wind and solar as the nuclear capacity in France, and they have not reduced their CO2 emissions, and it has cost a lot of money. So of course some emissions have been reduced, but at the same time they took away the nuclear. That meant they added more coal. So in the end there was not a real reduction in emissions. That is absolutely possible, because nuclear is 24/7. That means people need electricity around the clock. Certain industries, hospitals, and other places need electricity 24/7, but also some extra electricity is needed. You can have wind or your solar who can complement this to a certain limit without sort of disturbing the reliability of, because they are intermittent. That means they have an impact on the system, and you need backup when they are not working. So we are looking at the International Energy Agency. They are doing one scenario where the world is managing to avoid the worst disturbing effects of the climate change. It's called the 2-degree scenario, and there nuclear has an important role to play. Today, nuclear energy is the 2nd largest low carbon source in the world, and also in that scenario it will be also one among the largest, and it has to grow to be able to meet that. And the industry has been looking at how can we deliver at our capability, and we see that we should be able to deliver more. And so the goal is 25% of the electricity in 2050. That means we need to add 1,000 gigawatts of new nuclear power, and roughly that is 1,000 big reactors in the world. So we need some newcomer countries, and we need also the traditional countries that already have nuclear to use more. And with this demand the whole world has for reliable and clean electricity to an affordable price, South Africa should absolutely build on all the knowledge and experience over so many years, so many skilled people, and to develop this further. When you look to the real sort of statistics, the real facts, and all the historic experience, then you see that nuclear energy is one among the absolutely safest of all energy sources. And you go out to the outside public and they think it is the opposite. So we have done something wrong because we have not been able to explain that we are the safest compared to any other energy option. And one thing I think we are doing is we're emphasizing safety all the time, and we forget to put that in perspective. with other energy sources, or we forget to mention that we deliver electricity 24/7 and it is also clean, and the other energy sources are, some of them are very much polluting, and which is a risk to people's health and to the environment. So we need to have that in perspective, and there are these myths around which is hard they only will be met with good communication and also with real good facts. There is many research institutions and universities and other organizations that have put together all the facts around this. So for instance, it is the facts about accidents, it is the facts about emissions, everyday emissions when everything is working like normal. And there is also, of course, lots of information also on workers' health. And I mean, we can make some jokes about it, but if you are working for instance, and this is good statistics from Illinois, if you're working in the financial sector in Illinois or in the nuclear power plant, you are safer to work in the nuclear power plant than in the financial sector. I don't know what they're doing in the financial sector, if they're tripping off their chairs or tripping off in their staircase, I don't know what is the difference, but it is in fact for the workers a better job.